So like
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna let that happen.
No,
So
can't do that.
I'll just drop Josh Downs and stash CMC until the end of the season. Jordan Mason, he's dead too, so that's fun. Everybody's dying.
Yeah. Great.
But that might help me out because Kenneth Walker and CMC have not panned out for the 1-2 punch I needed them to be.
Or Garrett Wilson, for that matter. Once you
No,
traded for him.
I picked him up at wide receiver 3, and he is now wide receiver 7, which doesn't seem like a big fall, but
It's been like 4 games or 4 points, 5 points, 7 points.
Post me picking him up, he got 30 the first week, so I was like, okay, cool. 9, 5, by 9.
Yeah.
So that's fun. But it is what it is. We are live. Welcome back to the To Be Fair Fantasy Football Podcast, where we join you each and every Monday at 10 p.m., except next Monday. There might be a schedule change. There might not. We are still working on it. The Bengals play Monday night. So we may go live on Sunday. We may go live on Monday from a different location.
For pain.
Yeah.
We will watch the Bengals.
We're going to be watching the game one way or another.
Lose every week.
Yeah, so just we'll let you guys know one way or another what day we are going live. So we will get into that and more right after the intro. Alrighty, like I said, welcome back to the To Be Fair Fantasy Football Podcast. As always, I am one of your hosts, Johnny. To my left is Chris. Beneath me is Nick, and we are so glad to have you back with us on this fine Monday evening. As always, we will be keeping up with the Monday night game that is going on right now. The Broncos are leading the Browns 21-16. Is that still the case?
17, I think.
17 at the half. Yeah, that makes sense. Bo Nix is putting up a big old stanker, but the run game is doing all right for the Broncos. But we'll get to all that first. We have updated standings and an updated leader in the standings. Nicholas, how do you feel about taking over first place?
I'm used to it. Been there before.
He was there for
all. There.
He was there for all of like a week, I think. But yes, Nick has taken over. He had a good run. He went 13-3 this week, putting him at 82-40. Listen, 82-40. Say what you want about us. We are a 3 small person. You can call us a business. You can call us whatever you want. 3 small people. We're not professionals here, but 82-40. That's pretty good.
Dude, those NFL analysts, when they go on every Sunday,
they're terrible.
They're like 65 and 63 right now.
Put me in, coach. Next up, Chris has fallen to second place, going 12-4 at 81-41, and I am still bringing up the rear at 76-46. Had a good week though, 11-5. So no one really had a terrible week, but I got to make us some ground. I was real close on the Minnesota game. Chris and I both took Arizona, and they against Minnesota.
Choked it away.
Yeah, choked it away. So that's that. That was one game there, but it's okay. We'll make up some ground. First up, we have Packers at the Lions on Thursday Night Football. I tell you what, I was right about the Packers. Y'all picked Miami, and I picked the Packers.
Yeah, I should have foreseen the
I'm no neck.
team from my. All right.
All right.
I should have foreseen
on.
that the team from the warmest climate coming to the team in the coldest climate would probably not play very well.
Yeah.
And I did not. Rookie mistake.
Jonnu Smith just...
Dude, did you see the pregame warm-ups? Did you
No.
see the Sunday posting? It was the Green Bay Packers wearing like shorts and like t-shirts, and they're out there like bobbing and jamming and whatever. And then you have like all the Miami's fans are in like they're like in like joggers, these like mega big sweatshirts and like winter parkas. They're out there like standing together huddled, like not even warming up.
Gosh, these people. But yeah, Jonnu Smith is just Tua post concussion, number 10 or whatever. He's in love with Jonnu Smith. He wants to make a baby with Jonnu Smith.
Dude, he's probably because he can't make another
wouldn't?
read.
Probably. Devon just still getting an ungodly amount of work. The wide receivers,
Already scored. It was
yeah,
off of a
Dude, that was a
pass.
terrible.
but
Why does that happen?
Jalen Waddle back down to what, an 11-point performance after his great week last week.
Yeah.
We'll get to it in the offseason, I'm sure, about where we're going to be taking these guys, but it's like, are we in irreparable damage to the receiving core of Miami Dolphins?
I don't know. I'm tired of it though.
Yeah,
the Tyreek, he's at an age where you don't know what the case is. Waddle has had several years in a row where you're like, this is the year, and then it's not.
the problem is brother's raking in $32 million a year to be there, which is just crazy. It's insane. I don't know why I was just talking about the Dolphins. We're not even.
Yeah.
It's Packers Lions. Lions continue to just be a juggernaut. David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Laporta got in the end zone. Laporta had a great Thanksgiving game, of course.
Yeah.
How many of you that have Laporta sat him?
I had him for the first time ever in my dynasty.
There it is.
That's who I played.
You're welcome. Did Jared Goff probably had a decent game? He didn't play for me, so. Jordan Love continues to pump out that 18-point performance.
Jordan Love is the Jameis Winston of the new NFL. He will huck it till his heart is content, and it does not matter if he throws 4 picks.
Any of you have
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs?
No,
Couple leagues, yeah. He's
I
been
don't believe in
all
him.
Dude,
lately.
he was going all over the place. But that should be a good game. I'm still taking the Lions.
Me too.
Yeah. Detroit is in a league of their own. Keep saying it. No reason to believe otherwise.
Moving on to the Sunday matchup, we have the New York Poopy Jets at the Miami Dolphins. More talk of Aaron Rodgers getting benched. He said he'll address that when it happens or if it happens. Garrett Wilson, we talked about it a couple of minutes ago, just killing my fantasy lineup. Devontae Adams got in the end zone. Breece Hall, terrible week.
And he scored.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers had a mediocre week. So I didn't look to see where all the points were going because they had a decent amount of points on offense. Did
They had a
anybody
kick return for a touchdown?
Okay, here it is. Yeah.
There was a shovel pass Rodgers had to some Isaiah Davis or something. I never heard of him. I don't know who he is. So
The Jets are just a mess. Garrett Wilson, I thought, was going to heavily benefit from Devontae Adams being there, and it was the case immediately, but now it does not seem to be translating. But
It's bad.
it might be time for a mass organization shakeup, so we'll see. I'm going to take Miami there.
Same.
yeah, I don't think the Jets have it in them.
I just think the Jets are poo-poo stinky diaper.
They're broken, much like my favorite team.
Yeesh. We'll get to that pain later on in the schedule. Moving on to Atlanta at Minnesota. There's another one. Kirk Cousins was supposed to be goated this year, and he just keeps losing these games.
He looked awesome against the Bucks. What was that, like week 4?
He looks
Something
awesome.
like
And like week 6.
Yeah, as you say, both times against the Bucks.
that. And then that is just it. That's
He's-
the only two
yeah.
games.
He should be winning these games, and he's just not. That being said, I will continue to pick against the Minnesota Vikings every single week until I'm right.
Give me Minnesota.
I'm taking Kirk.
Go ahead, Chris. Take him.
can't-
Take Atlanta.
No, I can't. I can't pick Atlanta for how bad they've looked. It's one of those like prove it to me. I can't keep doing it.
That freaking coach in Minnesota, Aaron Jones fumbled, and he benched him the entire game and then put him back in at the end. Like, dude,
For a touchdown.
yeah, for a touchdown, which I get, but it's like, you really have you're really going to bench Aaron Jones for fumbling? Like, your team's really not in that position. Like, you're not that bad to where it's like, okay, next guy up. I think you'll be okay. But it's okay. He ended up getting in the end zone. But I think Minnesota is not as good as the record, so I'll keep betting against them. Justin Jefferson is just what he had another down week, didn't he?
Who?
Justin Jefferson, or did he? I saw him in the first half. It was pretty bad.
He battled. It was the first half was bad. He battled back, but it wasn't good. It was like 12 points or something. I think it might even be less than that, but definitely wasn't good.
If there are any questions,
16.9.
Oh, that's better than I thought.
It's still not for what you drafted him to be. And watching Jamar doing what he keeps doing, like that was the level you want.
Yeah,
he's just had like 5 weeks in a row of just.
If we get to the offseason and Justin Jefferson is being taken ahead of Jamar, I'll blow a gasket.
Crazy.
Yeah, there's just it just shouldn't happen, but I have a feeling it will. So we'll see. Moving on to that's a stinker. We got the Saints at the Giants.
Here's your first real injury update worth mentioning. Taysom Hill done for the year.
Blew out his ACL, didn't he?
Yeah. So bye that. And this is officially the Alvin Kamara, Marquez Valdez-Scantling show.
Yikes.
Dude, he's scored like 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah, but
on just a 50-yard bomb.
Still, that is a tough situation to be in. Tommy DeVito, did he still start this week?
Drew Lock.
He bonked his forearm, so he was hurting.
Do we have any update on who is starting this coming week?
No. This is going to be one of those weird scenarios where I'm willing to bet the Giants are just going to like roll
play
out
the worst quarterback.
Yeah, and then they're just going to designate the other guy to say he's got a boo-boo somewhere so they can officially not get hit with some fine.
Oh man.
What's funny is at this point, if the Giants really wanted to keep losing, they would just go re-sign Daniel Jones back. Just keep playing it.
It's a tough spot for me because I'm pretty sure that the Giants head coach is about to get canned. So, do we think?
I don't know. I don't feel like he should.
I don't know. I don't think so either, but I think he's going to. So, do we think he tries to win to avoid that? Or do you think it's inevitable?
What kind of logic is that?
What?
You don't think the Giants coach should be fired, but you think Zach Taylor should?
Look at the team that they have versus the team Zach Taylor had. That is a clearly different level of player talent. On the offensive, all I'm saying is it's identical in the sense, not super identical, but Dayball came in year one, took the team to the playoffs, and everybody was like, oh, wow, that was really surprising. Definitely didn't see that coming, considering the year before you were like the worst team in football. And then it's just slowly kind of declined. Zach Taylor's archetype has kind of been the same. It's just really bad Super Bowl, AFC Championship, and then now
injured quarterback, and then bad year.
Yeah. Which the archetype's the same. I get that. But my point is, offensively, our weapons are elite. Killer quarterback. You've had, other than this year, Joe Mixon, killer running back, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. They had Daniel Jones.
Correct.
And then Saquon Barkley with no offensive line.
Right.
Not the same in my mind.
You're crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're the same, but I don't think it's that drastic of a jump to what Nick is saying. I understand what he's saying. I think that I don't think that Zach Taylor necessarily shouldn't be fired eventually, like I've said before. But when you are claiming responsibility for calling the plays and you're putting up what you're putting up, I would be pretty mad if I was Zach Taylor and I got canned. Now, if front office comes to me and says, hey, you got to do something about this defense, and then gives me free range to fire Lou, and I don't fire Lou, that's a different story. Yeah. Now, if they say, hey, we told you to fix this defense, that includes firing Lou, and you won't fire him, get him out of here. The problem is, for those of you, if you're watching and you're not a Cincinnati Bengals fan, we had this guy named Marvin Lewis. He hung around for an eternity. He took us from poverty to relevance, took us to playoffs. seven
Which
out of
never
the
won.
16 years he was here. So that's a step in the right direction. We never won, but he did his job. He took us from poor to relevant. All right. He was a stepping stone. Then he should have been fired. But we let him hang around a little too long, and then we got real bad. So we might, if the trend is continuing, we might be on the back end of that side for Zach Taylor, but we're not sure. We just don't know. Because Joe has been not here consistently enough. You just can't give Zach Taylor the same Marvin Lewis hack when Joe has had 3 major injuries in 5 years. You just, I'm counting the appendectomy. I mean, he's had one training camp. That's ridiculous. You just can't do it.
It's a tough line to draw in the sand because we've talked about it before. Like, everything reflects the coach. So a bad team, right, wrong, and different, you blame Taylor. He's the head coach, and like that's who gets fired. So like, if we're gonna complain about whether it's effort, whether it's scheme, whether it's whatever it is, it falls on him. But to that point, obviously, in your case, I don't know.
I will say
I don't really know what he's supposed to do on the offensive side, calling plays, and you're putting up 35 points week in and week out, and then your defense is giving up 40.
I was going to say, in a lot of the post-game interviews this week, they asked a lot of the defenders about, do you think it's personnel or player scheme? And they all said, you need to talk to the coach about that. Because obviously they're not going to say, like, hey, our players suck, but it's like Mike Hilton, who's like a 10-year vet, telling you that the scheme is bad. It's like, you might want to look into that. Because, like, Lou's never been a top 5 defense consistently. So Mike Hilton has been on a top 5 defense with the Steelers. He knows what it's like to be under a good defensive coordinator. So it's like, I find it hard to believe that, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, Chris. I find it hard to believe that like good players like Mike Hilton just randomly are terrible now. Like
my only fear with Mike Hilton in particular is
he's
like,
old.
You watched. Yeah, and specifically with corners, like you watched Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman, like all of these guys who were like top Josh Norman, Jalen Ramsey, all of these like elite, top level, premier corners, be incredible, and then they come up the next year and you're like, are they hurt?
Yeah, but I would point to other, like Cam Taylor-Britt is a huge red flag. Like, you don't just get that bad. Like, Jermaine Pratt, he was never an elite linebacker, but now he's like bottom 20% of linebackers. And
I will say this is the first. We've gone back and forth, obviously, like between the 3 of us on who should be fired. This was the first week that, after watching the game, I can't even make an argument for Zach Taylor, and like to that point, like
the war is over.
Well, no, I still want him to be fired. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, like,
you don't want him to be fired first.
No, I do. But I think it's just I think it's like an in tandem. They go.
Oh,
like,
that'll never happen.
You all go. No. I just think you and you get rid of everything. But my point is, this is the first week. Like, offensively, there wasn't one time where I was like, that was a bad play call. Like, I felt like for the most part, you called a good game. Chase Brown had his best game of the year, basically, running the ball. You had a good balance. You scored a bunch of points. I can't complain. On the defensive side, you can make whatever argument about up till this game. Is it scheme? Is it personnel? Have guys gotten lost a step, or what's the problem? Watching Russell Wilson call hike, Najee Harris and then Jalen Warren run 4 yards in the middle, turn around, and then and get another like 10 yards off just a dump off, and then us just do nothing because our linebackers keep falling back in the coverage is clearly scheme.
Or
like, that is horrible.
Or receiver cutting out and coming back over the middle, and from the linebacker to safety transition, nobody picking him up. It's like, somebody's got to pick him up, dude. Like,
I don't know.
And it's like, if zone ain't working, which it's not, you need to put your best man coverage on these people, which he never does.
You know how in Madden, you can just run Engage 8 where you just bring everybody but like 3 players. Sure. At this point, I'm just bring the house. What do I care? They're doing whatever they want anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice, but I think the house is kind of not good, so that's probably why he doesn't do it. But I'm
taking New Orleans.
Yeah, that's the danger of talking about the Bengals.
For forgot. Yeah, who's the ones playing?
They're
New
playing
Orleans,
the Giants.
I'm taking New Orleans.
Yeah, it's New Orleans. No way. Uh oh.
I'm taking the Giants.
He's got to make up some ground somehow. At this point, he's gonna start taking
All right, moving on to Carolina at Philadelphia. I'm taking Carolina.
easy game to call. Oh,
Wow. Okay, I like Carolina. Bryce Young has looked
I've
really
seen enough.
good last.
Bryce Young looking good, not great. He looks good. Adam Thielen. Now you guys know how I feel about Adam Thielen. You know, kind of soft spot.
Man, Jenkins out there.
Yeah.
White Stallion.
Dude, he was making some incredible catches Sunday.
You seen him gritty this week?
No, I did not see him gritty.
That's
But-
nice. He wasn't bad.
But in all seriousness, we've seen Philadelphia play some very bad football against teams they should be killing, but we've seen them play very good football against teams they should be killing. So I'm just hoping bad Philadelphia shows up and Carolina continues their hot streak.
I just don't know how Saquon Barkley doesn't have 200 rushing yards in this
Oh,
game.
I'm sure he will.
That's the issue.
I'm sure he will. I'm more so hoping that Jalen Hurts sucks. That's what I'm banking on.
The Devonta Smith is somebody to keep an eye out for. He's missed, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks now. So
Boo! I'm the biggest hater.
you are a hater.
I'm the second biggest
And-
hater.
And also, well, at this point, it's hard to back anything up because he's missed a couple weeks in a row now. And then the weeks he played before he sat, he, like, throughout the entire week was like, I'm not sure I'm going to play. And then he'd try. So it's like you don't really have a good baseline anymore because you've had like 5 or 6 weeks of either him sitting or playing super hurt.
Stinky.
But if that's like it's the same thing as saying Jamar stinks after 4 weeks of the season because he didn't play well in the first 4
Dude,
games.
he did stink the first couple games.
That's what I'm saying. But that's my point. Like it's the same argument. Like Devonta Smith being hurt and then being like, dude, he sucks. It's like that's not really fair. You can't really judge it. Saying Jalen Waddle sucks may be fair because that dude, I don't know what more you want.
I can't argue about it.
Yeah, I don't.
Think you're wrong, idiot.
Look at the average points. That'll tell you everything you need to know.
I don't even remember who we were. Oh, we were still in Philly. So I took Carolina. You guys both took Philly.
Yeah,
That was
Philly,
is
not
that the only
close.
injury there?
Yeah, I mean, this is the first week that I told 3 different people this week to play Chuba Hubbard because he has been incredible. And guess who had more points? Jonathan Brooks. So Chuba Hubbard was definitely used more. He had
Yeah,
more snaps, but it did not translate.
that was
So
a stinker. It was pretty much Bryce Young and Adam Thielen. That was it.
yeah,
All right, moving on to Cleveland at Pitt. First, we have a game update. Nothing really has changed. 21-17. Broncos have the ball with
same old.
10:34 left in the third. I am going to take Cleveland here.
I am taking Pittsburgh. There's no way Cleveland sweeps.
Nah, I'm kind of with you. Pittsburgh, I think wins. They look really. I mean, playing an elementary recess defense is not.
Yeah, I was
A
gonna say,
great
they don't
benchmark,
look very good.
But they
My
are. I saw a stat. They are still top 5 scoring offense on the season.
I was just saying,
So-
my only logic here is their defense looks pretty bad. Obviously, the Bengals offense is a lot better than the Cleveland offense. So, Bengals offense makes a lot of defenses look bad. But, if Nick Chubb can get any sort of momentum, I think he could do a lot more damage to the run defense than Chase Brown would. So, but Nick Chubb
Yeah.
hasn't gotten going very well. So, we'd
He's
have
coming
to
off a pretty significant injury. Honestly, this year's probably a wash
Kinda.
in the sense that you're just gonna do nothing with him.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, can't really expect too much out of them. Moving on to Las Vegas at Tampa Bay. Brock Bowers, huge game, 30-point game.
Dude, they should have won. Can we talk about the
They
fact
got-
that I don't understand what's going
This
on.
is egregious. We are watching the rigging before our eyes.
I was telling people, okay, you can't script NFL games. It's not possible because you can't account for injuries. You can't account for play calls. You can't account for bad, ugly snaps or whatever. So, you can't script it. But, the Chiefs, Like they're what, 10-1, 11-1 or something like that right now. They have legitimately like 6 wins on the season that like any other team loses.
Yep.
You had the first one against week 1. Granted, this one wasn't bad
That
call,
was a good call.
but the Ravens call, it's a good call, but like game of inches. Isaiah
Yeah,
Likely is
not-
back literally 4 inches. That's a touchdown.
Yeah,
Then
but that's not like the
Yeah.
refs.
then
No,
there's a
I see
bad
that.
call against the Bengals.
Yeah.
Bad call against the Bengals. People are like, ooh,
Then
pass interference. Literally the next week,
bad
the
call
Chiefs
against
player
the Falcons.
tackles Kyle Pitts in the end zone, doesn't call it.
There's 3.
There's a game that they I don't remember who they were playing. Their right guard blatantly false starts on the drive on the play they score on in like the
Oh
final
yeah, I
30
remember that.
seconds.
Yeah.
Didn't call it. No problem there. They beat Denver on a blocked field goal. Now that again is not referees,
Nothing
but
scummy there. Just
again,
lucky.
yeah, like this one just domino falls the right way. And then this week,
This is the
This
most
one
egregious
is-
thing I've ever seen,
dude,
and that's coming
if
from a Cincinnati fan.
if you didn't watch the game, here's what happened. Raiders have the ball driving down the field, literally to run out the clock. They're gonna kick a field goal and win, assuming they make it. They drive down the field. They get to like the 30-yard line or something like that, and for some reason, the left or the right tackle taps the center. He hikes the ball. As the ball gets hiked, the referee on the Raiders side puts a whistle's mouth, blows it, starts waving the play dead, then goes like this for false start. Then there's a 2-minute huddle, and then they come out and say, actually, it was a legal formation, and the Chiefs recovered that, and they're going to get to keep it.
Game update: 93-yard touchdown thrown by Bo Nix.
Oh, he's alive.
Don't get
So ultimately, it's just what I don't understand. I don't understand.
Yeah, there's a lot of keyboard warriors arguing that, oh, there's a legal shift or whatever they changed it to in the moment, which isn't a dead ball. I don't even know. I'm like, dude, I know what my eyes are telling me that, or my brain is telling me my eyes saw. Like, that is a false start call. I've seen it a million times. I've seen it play out a million times. Like,
Here's the problem. Even if it's not,
there's an
let's
errant
just-
whistle.
Well, I'll say here's the issue with this. Regardless, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the rule changed. Maybe it's a legal formation. Fine. The referee cannot blow the play dead and then go like this on the Raiders side when there is a loose ball.
And everybody stops moving. Like,
Yeah, of course the Chiefs players are gonna get the ball because you just blew it dead. Everybody's gonna stop playing. What are we doing?
I don't know. This is the NFL has to do something. Roger Goodell needs to stop being so bad at his job. They need to use instant review to overturn these bad calls. If you can look at all this crap and say, oh, we made a bad call immediately, the Bengals will be screwed by it week after week. We're talking about playoff differences now. You're talking about taking away an MVP from Joe. You're talking about taking away a potential Super Bowl run on this roster that are screwing organizations. You have to be able to change this rule. I don't understand why it's not there just for the sake of it. It's the dumbest thing. It is making NFL games borderline unwatchable. Like, I have rage turned off so many games this year that the Chiefs are playing because crap like this. I'm like, I cannot watch this. And
Dude,
then
did you play during that game where they punted and then they just jumped to commercial and came back and they gained 30 yards?
yes. Oh, and what happened here is they actually redid this, and it's like, well, dude, like, I'm just
The
supposed
Raiders
to
punted
believe
the
you?
ball, it went out on the 1-yard line. The one. And then he threw a late flag. Then they cut to commercial and they came back and they were like, oh, we had to repunt and they shouldn't have kicked it, but they let them.
And then on top of that, we have ESPN, Sports Center, whatever that freaking Instagram page is, House Media or whatever. I can't remember what it's called. Just
House of Highlights.
Yes, House of Highlights. Just constantly shaders on, glazing the ever-loving crap out of these teams or the Chiefs. And it's like, it makes it so hard to enjoy the NFL as a product when you know that it's like no other team. Like, I hate the Steelers. I hate the Ravens. I don't hate them nearly as much as I hate the Chiefs because never once have I felt like the Steelers get away with some egregious stuff. 2015 playoffs when that guy stepped on the field and was pulling our players' dreads. Like, that's pretty bad, but like, that's not the league cheating. That's just the that's just the Steelers being scummy. Like the
Well, and
league
again,
protecting
it's
the Chiefs is one thing. Like
yeah, it's one game. Like that's the other difference. Like things happen. We're talking about humans. I understand mistakes are going to be made, but like it is just every week you can point to something in the Chiefs game and be like, that shouldn't have happened.
we have a
They could, in the season,
we have
earlier in the season,
we have a
they called
live
up-
chat.
Oh yeah, let's go.
All right, we have a live chat from Shane. He says, "What do you think about allowing them to throw fists legally, similar to hockey?" I say send it, and here's why. Here's why. There's only one place in your adult life where you can get in fights and not go to jail for assault, and it's professional sports. Think about it. You do any of this crap, I'll go straight to the Ohio State-Michigan game. After the game, they planted the flag. They start throwing fights. They go crazy. They got pepper sprayed. You do that anywhere on the street, you're going to jail. So it's like in baseball, what do? They just take a step back and say, we're just going to let this unfold however we see fit, and then we'll sort it out. NFL gets a little too ticky-tack. It's like, why are these guys throwing punches on helmets? I don't know. At least take your helmets off and then start throwing punches.
Yeah.
But
Miles Garrett, use your helmet and start playing whack-a-mole again.
clearly they don't care about ejections because only certain unsportsmanlike conducts go towards ejections or not. See, he said the OSU game was why I asked that. Yeah, if you're going to be out there pepper spraying people, in my opinion, as like a riot and like as a response to a riot, like what's the line here? Are you gonna like? I don't understand the difference between letting someone get in a fight in hockey and then just like not getting a fight after the game. Like you're still on the football field. Like why are the police stepping in there?
Yeah, if anything, you're in pads. That's helpful, right? Like that's a good thing to have on in a fight.
I think the pepper spray was probably a bit excessive. I also think the response to the flag is a bit excessive. People plant flags all the time. If you wanted to not lose the game, you should have used the passion in the game and not after the game. But that's because they have Chip Kelly as their offensive coordinator, and he sucked in the NFL. Why would he be any better as a college player? All right, so that's my little rant about OSU. He said, I'll start watching if these juice step guys start throwing fists. Obviously, no helmets being used, but just straight fists. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I wouldn't be opposed. It'd be fun.
I remember when AJ Green tried to take down Jalen Ramsey and just started punching his head repeatedly.
Dude, that was awesome. I did not. It's because AJ Green is the most calm, quiet person ever, and he like body slammed him at one point.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
He just raged. But onward and upward, we are moving on to where we at? Las Vegas to Tampa Bay.
Still Tampa Bay. We never.
Oh yeah, we started raging about the Chiefs. Look at us.
Tampa Bay.
I'm taking Tampa. I'm taking Tampa Bay. I think Brock Bowers has another good game. Trey Tucker probably has a good game. Mike Evans.
Probably get your running backs back from Las Vegas too. I'd imagine this week.
Yeah. Mike Evans had a great game. Baker had a great game. That's about it. K. Dotton.
Bucky Irving.
Oh yeah, Bucky.
Buck Wild, dude.
Nick,
he's.
Nick, how do you feel about Bucky Irving?
I hate him.
Nick hates Bucky Irving.
Actually, no, I love him. I hate him, but I love him because I hate him because when he played against me, he raped me. I mean, he hurt me.
Oh,
Oops.
we will.
But this week he saved me because I needed him to play good, and he did good.
Perfect. And that's how Nick feels about Bucky Irving. We won't have to clip it. It's fine. It's fine. All right, moving on to Jacksonville at Tennessee. Speaking of getting hurt, Trevor Lawrence may never be the same.
Dude, that was one of the dirtiest hits I've ever seen in my entire life.
There are people online legitimately arguing that that's clean. Like I'm not kidding. I've been sent.
In what argument? What are they saying? He slid late or something?
There's two different arguments saying. One, he slid too late, which I think is the dumbest thing ever. He had 10 yards of separation. That guy came flying in. That's terrible. Two, the other argument is that quarterbacks shouldn't slide at all. That if you're going to go, as soon as you leave the pocket, you become a runner. And you should just act like a runner, basically. And it's like, okay, I understand your logic because you want to protect yourself. Like, you're basically, you're opening yourself up to a hit, regardless if it's legal or not. So, like, I'm not necessarily sure they're arguing that the hit wasn't dirty in the sense that it was late, but it's like, I think they're arguing the logic of protecting yourself as a runner there. And it's like, okay, but what are you supposed to do? But then you have the problem is you have guys like Kenny Pickett with the fake slide, Patrick
Can't do that
Mahomes.
anymore, though.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes
Mahomes.
with the fake out of bounds. And I said on this podcast, 3 weeks ago, someone just needs to level him. And it's like,
Sign Vontez.
maybe
back
that's what this guy was
for
doing.
a
He's like,
game deal, and tell him to be a heat-seeking missile.
and like I understand the ejection. I don't think he should get. In my personal opinion is I don't think he should get a suspension. I think ejection is fine. I think suspension's like. Do we really think he's trying to end Trevor Lawrence's career there? Like,
No, it is a hard line. Obviously, guys are running full speed, and like, it's a fine line where you're gonna go for a tackle. You don't want him. You don't want to assume that he's gonna go down. You not make a play, and then he just keeps running by you.
exactly, yeah.
But I don't know, tough look. Trevor Lawrence definitely won't play this week.
Mm,
Not officially that the case, but
I don't
there's
know
no
why
way.
they keep running Trevor Lawrence out there with all the injuries he's had this year, but I'm taking Tennessee.
That's a reenactment of what Trevor Lawrence did. I'm taking Tennessee as well.
Yeah, probably. With Mac Jones, there's no way they win.
Yeah. All right, we're moving on to the 405 slot. We got Seattle at Arizona. Geno Stone and the Seahawks keep fighting away.
Smith?
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh gosh,
Stone
I've
is
got
bum for the Bengals.
got nightmares about him. Geno Smith and the Seahawks keep finding a way. Kenneth Walker keeps finding a way to not score. And Arizona,
They keep choking games away.
yeah, I
Shepard.
mean, James Conner is about the only guy I feel comfortable playing, and he didn't really do well.
No, dude. You're gonna play Trey McBride because
Oh,
he
yeah, I
had
forgot about
12
him.
catches again.
I forgot about him.
And Marv scored this week too.
Yeah, but even Marv, I mean, you should play him. You should feel comfortable playing him.
Basically, you're only okay if he scores. If he doesn't score, you're really upset.
I mean, at this point
Yep.
in the season, if you've held on to Marv, you're playing him, so it doesn't really matter. Like if you're gonna have to play him,
Unless
but
you're stacked.
yeah, and
I will be taking Arizona.
I will be taking Seattle.
Dude, that's what I was gonna do. I want to do it first because I knew you were gonna copy me.
You're
No,
glazing.
I took Seattle, Nick.
What?
Yeah.
You just said me too.
No, I said I'll be taking Seattle.
I said me too, you big dumb idiot. Sorry.
Jeez.
I'm being
All right.
mean. Sorry.
Moving on to
'em up.
Buffalo at the Rams. We had a weeboo anomaly this week. Josh Allen threw a pass to Amari Cooper, who then lateraled the pass to Josh Allen, who ran it in for a touchdown. And I came on to play the good old Call of Duty, and I said, boys, did this man just get a passing and a receiving touchdown?
Oh.
And he
Yep.
did. And then Fantasy
did.
sent out a thing saying, snow day, happy, whatever. He got both. That's crazy. So if that helped you out to get a win, congrats. If you lost against Josh Allen, I probably would have smashed my phone.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's just no, I would have raged. Other than that, the Bills look,
They
they
look awesome.
they
They
are the AFC
Right
Lions.
below the Lions.
Yeah, that's
The AFC really doesn't look like they have a powerhouse this year. Chiefs really don't look that incredible. And then, frankly, in my opinion, the Bills look good. But other than the Bills, I think
That's
the
about
Eagles
it.
would beat the Bills right now, and I think that the Lions would beat the
oh
Bills right
no,
now.
I think the Bills beat the Eagles. I think the Lions beat the Bills though.
Yeah.
I think the Bills, as good as Saquon is, I think obviously the Eagles' run game is better than the Bills' run game, but Josh Allen's ability to be a competent passer, in my opinion, is way higher than Jalen Hurts.
I just don't think that Jalen Hurts has had to pass is the problem.
No, he's got a lot of
they're
rushing
just-
touchdowns.
Well, and because Saquon's been so good recently, they've just been they just keep AJ Brown has been good but not great. So my point is, I think if you get into a game where the Eagles are forced to throw, I think that he would be awesome. I just don't think that they have to be.
Someone have a stream on?
No
Yeah, it's
way.
really loud. I
I
can turn it
can
on.
hear it.
Oh, but yeah, they're playing the Rams. I'm taking Buffalo. The Rams stunk up the place. Cooper
We're all
Cup.
taking Buffalo.
Barely snuck out against New Orleans.
Yeah.
I almost called that one right. I called New Orleans last
Everybody
week.
just kind of had a poopy week for the Rams, but it is what it is.
Yeah. This one won't be close.
Yeah, I think the Bills got that one. Moving on to Chicago at San Francisco. Devastation has struck San Francisco once again. Gojira has taken over the city.
It is double whammy at the running back position because you lost CMC for at least Jordan Mason also on IR.
We had a slight internet interruption, so I'm going to repeat that. He said we lost CMC for at least 6 weeks. He's probably out for the season. And then Jordan Mason is also in the IR. Yeah, CMC was a step away from a 60-yard touchdown run, and instead he's out for the season. So if that's a clear picture.
Did you see the slow-mo of it? His entire calf, like, it was disgusting.
Yeah, I was looking. There's a doctor I follow online, and he said that he wasn't actually worried about that video. Surprisingly, he pointed to the video.
It's the tackle. It's
the tackle video. Yeah. He said he said like a million people sent him that video about his calf, and he was like, yeah, everybody was worried about his Achilles. He's like, I don't think there's anything wrong with like his calf or anything.
Yeah, they said it was all like PCL or something.
Yeah. But it did look disgusting. That's why everybody, rightfully so, was like, he's dead. But that's a perfect image of how the Niners season and how my fantasy season is going. Just
It's basically been
that close.
George Kittle. That's it. That's been it.
Yeah,
Like,
Deebo Samuel is non-existent.
No, he's been bad. Jawan Jennings is okay, but he's only okay with Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Like, I think now that CMC's gone, he'll be way better. But that's a lost cause.
I am taking.
This is kind of an interesting game, though.
I'm taking Chicago.
San Francisco. Give me San Francisco.
DJ Moore and DeAndre Swift specifically have been putting up a ton of fantasy points the last couple of weeks.
I think you mean Keenan Allen.
Well, Keenan Allen did last week. But DJ Moore has put up like 24 the last 2 weeks.
I think I'm taking Chicago as well.
Scoring update, 28-25 Cleveland just kicked a field goal, but Denver still has the lead.
Gotcha.
If the Browns win, I tie Nick on the record for the night or the week. So plus we're really pulling for
a Denver loss.
Denver to lose. Which if
Denver
we're being
lost.
honest if we're being honest with ourselves, it's over no matter what.
We were still on the graphic today.
Yeah, but it's over.
It's just nice to see us up there.
Someone still has faith in us.
Yeah, the people that make the graphic.
No, I think that's all just mathematics.
Well, yeah,
It's
but
not
if
like an official elimination.
if Cleveland wins tonight, no, we'll still have the edge on them because we have the tiebreaker right now on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there in the next couple of games, but I'm just laser focused on 1 week at a time. Can I survive watching them one more week? Moving on to the Chargers, the Chiefs. Justin Herbert looked horrible this week.
He didn't have to do anything. It's because Kirk Cousins threw 3 picks.
Yeah.
That defense just kept getting them super close
Yeah.
and just kept kicking field goals again.
It just I'm taking the Chargers.
Dude, I want to take the Chargers too. I'm doing it. The Chiefs are
They suck. They are not
the biggest
good.
frauds.
I'm taking the Chiefs.
They are bigger frauds than the Steelers.
Remember a couple years ago when the Vikings went undefeated?
And then went to the
for a
playoffs
long
and
time?
crapped their pants.
Yeah, and people said they were frauds.
Yeah.
Which team was more fraudulent? The Vikings a couple years ago or the
The-
Chiefs this year?
Oh gosh, it's got to be the Chiefs.
The Vikings.
I mean,
Dude, I don't know.
it's
Watching the Chiefs is so hard to watch.
it's
the
close. The
Vikings at
Vikings are
least,
for sure
like,
bad, but
The Vikings winning, I at least was like, yeah, you got lucky that guy fumbled on the 1-yard line or something stupid. Watching the Chiefs and just watching Patrick Mahomes suck tongue with the ref behind in the blue tent or whatever to get his call, like,
Yeah, but the Vikings didn't have one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
hey,
he's dying. You killed him.
that's disgusting. That almost made me die.
10 out of 10 rage, baby.
Yeah, that almost got me. I almost fell for it. Gosh, I can't even respond to that. All right, we're moving on to the last game of the week. Bengals at Cowboys. I'm taking the Bengals. Cooper Rush has beat us once before. Again, it's a battle of the offenses, not the
Wait,
defenses.
has he?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the first week that we.
It was the week that we went to the Super Bowl.
He didn't play. Yeah, it was the first week that Dak didn't play, and we were like, "Oh, we got a lock win," and then Cooper Rush came out and.
I thought it was Dalton at that point.
No.
I'm crazy.
You probably should pay attention to CD Lamb. Hurt his shoulder pretty good. So
Sucks.
I don't really know what to think. They're in the same boat the Bengals are, turning into a lost season. I think technically speaking, Dallas is not eliminated from the playoffs, but at the same position, you're like the last team on the bubble.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility that if he's hurt, he either just toughs it out because they want to make the playoffs, and there's a strong possibility that he just like goes to IR and then calls it a year. Who knows?
I strongly urge you to start Rico Dowdle this week. He's been putting up 20+ points against normal people.
I do. You're playing the
and
elementary school.
He's playing the Bengals. Najee Harris
or Chuba.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Don't ask me. I tell everybody the wrong thing. I would say Rico, but
I'm telling you, there's just Najee Harris put up 26 points against us. All right.
Okay.
Also, play the receivers you got because it's 512 yards of offense. Russell Wilson put up against the Bengals. That being said, are we all taking the Bengals?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to root against them.
I mean, I still think we give up 25, probably. I just think we put up 38. So that's
been our line basically every week.
That's where I'm at. So I think the Bengals will sneak one out there.
Whatever the betting line is for the Bengals game, just go ahead and put your entire house that it scores more. Because
Did
that's.
you see Shannon Sharp's take on
No,
the
what'd he say?
Steelers game? I don't know. It sounded like he was legitimately trying to just
to troll.
He was blaming, like, basically this season on Joe Burrow because he turns the ball over in inopportune times. And when he needs to be clutch, he can't be clutch.
Dan,
he just turns it over.
Or Volsky or whatever his name is.
Orlovsky.
Yeah, Orlovsky. But yeah. Bo Nix, 32-yard pass to Sutton. Suck it, Matt. I just beat him in Dynasty. Yeah, he was basically like, what do you want him to do? And he was like, here's the thing, Dan. So if your defense ain't playing, what does the offense got to do? Offense got to be perfect. And what did Joe not do on Sunday? Joe was not perfect. He turned the ball over. And he's like, bro, you cannot be serious. Double tip ball and then blindside strip sack twice because he hit a 3-step drop. And it wasn't a typical Joe, because Joe has the tendency, and he'll verbalize it, where he likes to drop back, and he's like, I didn't see anything. Guess what? I'm taking a sack. He's not Andy Dalton. He's not throwing it out of bounds. He will take a sack. It wasn't like that. It was a 3-step drop, and then he got sacked. And Shannon Sharp legitimately was like, he's got to get rid of the ball. And Dan is like, you are out of your mind. In your free time, look it up. It's legitimately enraging because you're talking about someone who is 30, 31 passing touchdowns to 4-5 picks now.
Yeah.
He's got to have
it's a career year.
He's got to have the best ratio, if not one of the best ratios in the league. He probably not the best because there's some weird ones that are like 13-1 or something stupid like that. But it's like, dude, you like Nick said, I can't tell if he's serious or if he's just trying to make good content at this point to make an argument. But Stephen A was just kind of sitting there quietly like, what you talking about here? It was hard to listen to, but it was enraging. And I thought Dan was about to have some type of aneurysm on the set because it was just unbelievably stupid to listen to out of Shannon Sharp. But that's that. That wraps up the matchups for this week. On to the one, the only segment of the show where we have Nick's Picks, where he lets you know about
picks owned or waiver wire ads owned in less than 50% of leagues.
One of these weeks.
We'll get there sometime.
one
I'm
of these,
gonna get
one of
there.
these weeks. All right, take it away.
Okay, starting at quarterback.
It's like he forgets every time that you're about to
I can't
intro and he's
remember
like
this.
50%
my
of
turn.
leagues.
Shut up, dude. You're not cool. Bryce Young is your first quarterback. He's just been playing decent. He's not gonna win you games, but he's not gonna lose you games. If you have a terrible quarterback situation, he'll get you like 15 points. He's had 250 and a touchdown in the last 2 starts. He also had a rushing touchdown. So it's 15 plus points in both of the last starts. I hate to say it.
Yeah, here it
Second
comes.
quarterback.
Screw you, buddy.
Cooper Rush. He plays the Bengals, so enough said. The
Recess
Bengals
defense.
are like Swiss cheese. They have holes everywhere and they stink. I don't really have to read you stats, but I can. He's got 796 yards, basically 804 touchdowns in the last 3 starts. The Bengals just gave up 414 to Russell Wilson. So, I mean, it's not going to be hard for
That's
Cooper
so
Rush to have a
bad
good
to
game.
hear out loud.
Like,
He had 200. He had 260 in the first.
I know.
half.
Yeah, it's rough. So, Cooper Rush should be like, play him. And if you're in a tied situation and you need to pick up a quarterback for defense against someone else, not pointing any fingers, pick up Cooper Rush so someone else can't have him. Running back.
Yo,
Isaac-
why do you want me to pick up Cooper Rush?
Oh wait, is Johnny over here?
Yeah.
Oh, Johnny's over here on this side. On my screen. Johnny needs to pick him up so Kaysen can't have him.
Oh.
Kaysen doesn't have Lamar, and I'm gonna try to pick up Tua so he can't have Tua. So pick up
Hey,
Cooper Rush.
Hey, no, I need to pick up Tua. Don't pick up Tua.
Oh, I'm probably not gonna get him. I have Isaac Gorendo as my first pickup.
I'm right there
Um,
with you.
Yeah, I put a claim in. I'm gonna put a claim in for him.
Well,
too.
Isaac Gorendo Gorendo is your first. Should be number 1 on your list. He's a running back for the Niners. We talked about it. CMC and Mason are out, and he had 19-point game this season when he was the starter. San Francisco's in shambles, but they do love to give their running backs everything. So, I mean, at this point in the season, if you can get a running back who is probably gonna be the number 1, you're picking him up no matter what. Second running back is kind of yucky. Braylon Allen, if you're really desperate.
I mean,
He's had a couple of like sunshine moments where you're like, hey, there's a little bit of hope, but he's not gonna win you games. He goes against Miami's defense, who just gave up 21 points to Josh Jacobs, but that's also Josh Jacobs, so take it with a grain of salt. If you need him, maybe consider it. But there's probably better options. Wide receivers, Nick Westbrook-Akine. I think that's how you say his name.
Just keep scoring touchdowns.
Dude, he's not great. He's gonna score you a touchdown, and that's what you're hoping. You're hoping for a solid like 15 points. He's not putting up like crazy like catches or like stats and targets and anything on yards. It's literally just he scored a touchdown in like the last 8 games. Don't quote me on that.
It's like
He's like slowly rising on the touchdown for wide receivers this year. It's wild. So he's a good pickup. Trey Tucker is also a good pickup. He had 9 targets, 140 yards, and a touchdown in the last 2 games. He's still a number 2 option, probably behind Brock Bowers, but they're always gonna be down probably, so they're gonna have to throw the ball a lot. They play Tampa Bay this week, and they think. They almost just got beat by Bryce Young, who has been playing good.
yeah.
But you're hoping Tampa Bay just stinks and they're going to continue to give up points to the wide receiver position. Moving on to tight ends, Pat Freiermuth is an obvious one. He's had 6 catches for 68 yards and a touchdown against Cincinnati. It was Cincinnati, so anybody's scoring against us. But if you really, really need a tight end, you might want to look at him. If you don't want to get him or you can't, Dalton Schultz is another good pickup. He had 5 catches for 62 yards and a touchdown against Jacksonville. He's on a bye right now this week, but he should be dropped. So you could stash him if you need tight ends. He plays Miami when he comes back, who also has a yucky defense still. So if you're
Just not a lot of great
pairing.
options out there right now.
the tight end position is very, very hard.
You're at that
for.
point. You're at that point in the season where basically you're picking players up to either play prevent. You're hoping somebody else doesn't get them, or you're picking them up as like solely insurance in
Yep.
case somebody gets hurt.
Yeah. So that's all my waiver wires this week.
Thank you. That wraps up Nick's picks. And as always, that will wrap up the show for the evening. Thank you so much for joining us again on this lovely Monday. Please check us out on Instagram, TikTok, the Twitter, it's X, formerly known as Twitter, YouTube Shorts, Spotify. Remember, we may be going live next Monday at our normal time or earlier for the Bengals game. We may be going live on Sunday. We will send out an update to let you know. But either way, thank you for hanging out with us. We look forward to seeing you next time. And as always, have a great night. Goodbye.